So Minecraft Bedrock Edition is often thought of as the lesser than or worse version of Minecraft, opposed to Java. After all, most places you go, you see people making fun of Bedrock Edition. And in this video, I wanted to see why. You know, I've played Bedrock Edition in the past, but I haven't really gotten a true sense of what the game is like. And I really wanted to get that. So what I've done is I've split this video up in two sections. The first section being the actual gameplay and mechanics of the game, and the second one being the community and servers that I've tested out and played. Anyway, let's get right into this. Hope you enjoy. So, to start off, the Bedrock edition of the game makes players pay for items such as skins, mods, and texture packs via the marketplace. These items are typically free in Java. Also, on the title screen, if you click on the profile button, it'll bring you to a screen that has a skin customization feature, where you can make custom skins. Unfortunately, your options are incredibly limited due to the fact that most of the items are behind a pay gate. Also, for some reason, the skins can blink. I didn't know this when I did my first playthrough, so I got a little bit freaked out at times because my eyes would just disappear. Where are my eyes? Also, on the topic of weird things, I just wanted to talk about the running animation. It's just weird. I don't really understand it. It's not fast like you would think a running animation would be. Like in Java Edition, it looks like they're running. Now, it doesn't look like actual running in real life, but at least it's moving quickly. So you get the sense of they're moving quickly, their legs are moving quickly, they must be moving quickly. Anyway, I found it just a tad weird, but that's just my personal opinion. Minecraft Bedrock can be played on a variety of platforms, from TVs to consoles and everything in between. Java Edition, on the other hand, can only be run on a PC with Mac, Windows, or Linux. The reason behind this is Bedrock was made to be easy and run quick. This is why the default rendering distance for Bedrock is 80 chunks, while the vanilla Java edition, the maximum render distance is only 32 chunks. Now, fundamentally, Minecraft Bedrock and Minecraft Java are very similar. In both games, you create a new world, you load into it, you punch a tree, you get some stone, you make tools, etc. Now, I started this world with the intention of completing the game within a relatively short amount of time, so I played it accordingly. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the first night or whatever, because both games pretty much share the mechanics of that. And for me, I'm a Minecraft pro, so it was incredibly simple and easy for me. Probably one of the biggest differences between the two versions is the style of combat. In Java Edition 1.9, a brand new style of combat was introduced to the game. This style of combat focused more on timing of hits and attacks rather than just volume of them. Bedrock, however, did not receive this update and still has the old style of spam hitting to this day, although there are limits to it. For example, a hit can only be registered every 10 ticks or 500 milliseconds. This means you can only attack any entity twice a second, no matter how many clicks per second you may be getting. Now, a little bit later on, I realized that my hunger was getting incredibly low. This is another one of the major differences between the two versions. In Minecraft Bedrock, you lose hunger a lot faster than in Java. I even did my own testing for this, and it stands that you definitely do lose hunger faster than in Java. However, you can't die from hunger in either of the versions, only get to half a heart. Editor's note here, you can actually die from hunger, but only in the hard mode of each game. Shields are also a part of Bedrock, but they work in really different ways. In Java Edition, all you must do is right-click when your shield is in your offhand, and you deploy your shield to stop yourself from most damage. In Bedrock, however, you have to crouch to activate your shield. I found this pretty annoying, and I don't like it because I crouch a lot. I crouch to mine, I crouch to build, and a lot of times it's nice to have your shield on you, so in case some skeleton tries to knock you off, you can block it really easily. In Bedrock, this is impossible because having your shield out makes it to where you can't mine or hit or attack or place blocks. Swimming is also pretty drastically changed in Bedrock. When you jump into water in Bedrock, almost no momentum is lost, and you can move really fast without going into your swimming animation. In Java, you have to go into a swimming animation to even move remotely fast. The only way to get around that is having Depth Strider, and then you can move a little bit faster, but still, even with Depth Strider, you don't go as fast as you do in Bedrock. Also, just a little side note here, sugarcane can also grow up to 4 blocks tall. This doesn't really have any major impact, but I just encountered a 4 tall sugarcane and thought it was pretty weird. When I was making a nether portal in a pit of lava, I came across something kind of interesting. It was a glitch that made it seem like I was standing on a half slab. I don't know what triggered this glitch or how I was supposed to make it go away, but it didn't really have any impact, nor it was that annoying, but I just wanted to include it because I thought it was kind of interesting. The nether was largely the same. I will say, in the nether, this is the only time I cheated in this video, and this was because I'd already spent 20 minutes trying to find a nether fortress, and I didn't want to be there for an hour, just aimlessly wandering in the nether. So yes, I did go into creative, and I did locate a fortress. Now, after I got back from the nether, I do the next logical thing to further my progress and get to the ender dragon, getting ender pearls. And this is when I found out that the enderman is the most brokenly overpowered mob in Bedrock Edition. Now, in terms of health and damage, the enderman is equivalent to its Java counterpart. But what makes it so overpowered in Bedrock is the amount that it teleports. There were times I would be fighting an enderman and it would teleport away for like a minute and then come back and attack me when I thought it had forgotten about me. This was incredibly annoying and not only made them really strong and really overpowered, but really difficult to kill and really difficult to get pearls because whenever you'd hit them, they just teleport away. Strongholds themselves are generated a little bit different in Bedrock. In Java, there are 128 strongholds in total that generate in 8 different rings around spawn. However, in Bedrock, stronghold generation is completely random, and there are an infinite amount of strongholds. Finding them is identical in both versions though, and I had no problem doing so. I did, however, have a little bit of trouble finding the portal room. Due to this fact, I figured out another major difference between Bedrock and Java. There is no spectator mode in Bedrock. When I was trying to find the portal room, I just wanted to get to the end so I could get this recording over with. So I wanted to go into spectator so I could find the portal room, put the pearls in, and go to the end. But there is no spectator mode, so that's when I figured that out. The end fight is pretty typical, other than you have to be extra careful not to piss off any endermen, because like I said, they are very overpowered, especially when there are multiple. Now, I had no problem because I'm just so good at video games, and I killed the ender dragon incredibly easy with absolutely no issues whatsoever, and I hopped into the portal at the end of the game. So for this section, I played Egg Wars on CubeCraft and Sky Wars on the Hive, and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Now, they were nowhere near the level of Hypixel, but going into it, I had much lower expectations for it. That being said, the flaws were not uncommon, to say the least. I chose to only play on some of the feature servers that show up when you go on the servers tab, and started off with CubeCraft. Given that my main game I play on Hypixel is Bed Wars, the first game mode that I tried out was Egg Wars. One of my biggest complaints has to be the menu system in Bedrock. It is not only incredibly slow to navigate, but this feels so janky compared to the intuitive and simplistic menus that a Java server like Hypixel has. Also, to play any sort of high-paced game mode in Bedrock, you have to have a really sharp right eye, because the chat renders the most crucial parts of your left side of the screen completely useless. What made it even worse is I could find no way to turn it off or make it smaller. In Java Edition, the chat is tucked out of the way in the bottom left side of the screen. On top of that, there are a ton of options to control the chat to ensure that it does not get in your way. In Bedrock, however, the chat is smacked right in the middle of the left side of your screen. For PvP, this is such an important spot to be able to see, and it pains me to lose access to it. It is pretty clear to me that there seemed to be quite a large skill gap between a typical Java player and a typical Bedrock player. The pacing difference between the two is night and day. This most likely comes from the fact that Bedrock servers are cross-play between any machine that is running Bedrock. That means all the platforms listed before could be playing in the same game, and obviously someone playing on a keyboard and mouse is generally going to perform better than someone playing on their phone. Bridging is also different in Bedrock Edition. In Java, the only way to place blocks in general is to right-click on the face of the block. That places a new block on the face of the block that you just clicked. This means if you want to bridge, you have to crouch and place a block on the side facing the direction you want to go. In Bedrock, however, you do not have to do this. Instead, you can simply hover your mouse in front of the bridge and right-click and a block will be placed in front of you. Personally, I never really liked this mechanic because it felt like there was little skill needed to perfect this. In conclusion, there are some good features like embedded controller support, which would be nice to have on Java, but as a whole, yeah, no, Java's definitely better.